So I'm Shashwat Avasthi, a third year undergraduate student at NIT Raipur, Computer Science and Engineering. And today I have with us one of my friends, one of my mates, Miss Anjali Patle, who is a third year undergraduate student at Computer Science and Engineering NIT Raipur, an upcoming intern at Amazon India, a software development engineer intern. She's also a woman hackathon winner and also a mentor at Script Winter of Code to 2021. So we would have a nice one-to-one session with Anjali today, wherein we would ask her experience from becoming a beginner in the competitive programming to bagging an internship at one of the major tech companies. After the session, we'll also have some Q&A session wherein you could post your questions for Anjali, and if the time permits, we will try to answer all your queries in regards to that. So over to Anjali. Anjali, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Thank you, Sashwat. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yeah, Anjali, you are
So,
visible and audible.
as Sashwat mentioned, I'm a CSC third year undergraduate at NIT Raipur, CSC branch, and I enjoy competitive programming, web development, as well as taking part in hackathons. I'm a Girl Script Hackathon winner, a Tata Steel Woman of Metal, a mentor at SWOC, and next summer I will be interning at Amazon India.
Great, Anjali. Thank you very much for that introduction. So Anjali, you mentioned you'll be interning at Amazon next year. So can you tell us how was your experience interviewing at Amazon? What were the number of rounds? What discussions you had, and how did you progress through the coding round? And what were the questions and all?
Yeah, sure. So I was a part of the opportunity of Amaze Wow, which was conducted this year by Amazon. It was a nationwide drive. It was an off-campus drive, and I was informed about it by our seniors in college. And for that, we had to submit our resume and some basic information, which followed by a coding round, which was an online coding round, and it consisted of four sections. One was a debugging section, then was a coding section, which consisted of two questions, then was an aptitude section, and then finally a work compatibility test questions. I think which was just to test the compatibility of the candidate. And after this coding round was over, candidates were further shortlisted for the interview process. There was only one round of interview for interns, and the interview happened in June. After the interview was over, the final results were rolled out at around August, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anjali. So, can you give us an insight on how did you prepare for these interviews and coding round? And since we have a lot of first years in here, so what could be their strategy starting from first year to prepare for these type of interviews and tests?
Yeah, definitely. So most companies they roll out their drives and opportunities for internships at around August, but with Amazon, it was quite early. It was done during April, May. So I was not that prepared at that time, but I started my preparation with GFG. First, I wanted to get a good knowledge of the data structures and all algorithms concepts. Once I was familiar with them, I started practicing on lead code. Other than that, parallelly, I was also indulged in competitive programming. I used to practice on code forces. I used to take part in contests conducted on Code Chef, Code Forces, and just a regular practice to hone my problem solving skills. This helped me in developing a problem solving attitude so that any new question can be implemented by me. And after that, I just kept on practicing regularly on lead code. My seniors also helped me by conducting mock interviews for me. And I think for internships and opportunities and interviews, it is really important to know about the past experiences and the past questions asked by that company. So for that also, I used to search about it and practice those questions which were company specific.
Okay. Thank you, Anjali, for that wonderful explanation of how you prepared. So, Anjali, you must have studied a lot of subjects during your college time from first year to third year. So, can you tell how the studying these subjects throughout your stream of study helps you to have a good grasp on what you are going to do in these coding questions or coding interviews?
Yeah, I think there are many subjects that are included in our curriculum, like you all must be familiar with OOPS, object-oriented programming, operating systems, database management system. All these subjects are important from interview point of view as and in the coding round point of view, because there are many technical questions which are asked based on these core subjects, and interviewers also ask questions about these core subjects and they have a discussion with you. So it is important that whatever is at least whatever is covered in your curriculum, you should have a good grasp of that. For example, in my case, during that time we were not familiar with operating system and DBMS. It was not covered in our curriculum. But even if you have studied OOPS and the interviewer asks you about it, you should have a good knowledge and understanding of the concepts of the core subjects. So it is really important that whatever is in your curriculum, and you should be familiar with it, and you should have all the conceptual knowledge about it.
Oh, that means that these are important. So it would be a great insight for our first years that you should be focusing on them as well. So see, Anjali, it's a myth in the technical world that women are not preferred in the technical jobs. It's a myth. We all know the reality, but it's a myth among many of the students, many of the people. So can you just elaborate upon different opportunities which can be grabbed by women in competitive programming or in the technical world as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. So it gives me immense pleasure in discussing with you all that in today's day and age, there are various programs, scholarships, and contests that are being held for women specifically, so as to promote them in this field. Like Amazwa was also a program targeted at women. There are other specifically programs that provide internship to women, like Google Step internship, Adobe Wit scholarship program, Adobe She Codes, Adobe Code Hers, and Twitter Develop Her, as well as there are other scholarships like recently DShaw rolled out its DSES send a scholarship, and we have scholarship from Google, we have scholarship from Adobe. So these are various opportunities that are directed towards women, and you should keep an eye out for them, and um, you can really get benefits from them.
Oh, great, Anjali, for telling us about it. So that means that the myth is completely wrong, to be very honest. Um, so Anjali, like for any beginner going into the tech field, LinkedIn is some field where everyone wants to explore. Everyone wants to know what LinkedIn is, what does that do. So could you tell us how to make the most out of LinkedIn and how a beginner who is coming into the tech field can use it?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is a really great platform for not only connecting with good people, but also for getting to know about more opportunities and to really understand the tech world. As a beginner, you just need to make a profile on LinkedIn, and after that, I think it really boils down to who you connect to. It's really important that you connect to right people who have something valuable to contribute towards the field. If for example, if you want to participate in some program, or if you want to know more information about a particular initiative, you can just go to LinkedIn and search about the people who are already involved in that program, and you can introduce yourself formally to them and ask them about it. Most of the people are really happy to help if you are good in your way to approach them. You just need to approach them, and they can tell you all about how they applied for it, what the program is about, and all the other details which you may not get from the official documentation. So for that, I think LinkedIn is great. Other than that, we all know about references, how we can get we all have heard about it, like we can get references from companies, from employees, to apply for off campus opportunities. References, though they are hard to get, but if you have the correct approach and if you have a resume to back up your request, then you can find people who are willing to give you references. If you want to join a particular company, if you want to apply for a particular company, you can connect with the employees of those companies, and you can contact them and let them know that I'm interested and here is my resume. You can have a look at it, and if you feel that I'm suitable, please give me a reference. And in that way, you can really have some great benefits from LinkedIn. And it's all about being formal, being interactive, being connecting to the right people, and then you'll get an array of opportunities.
Great, Anjali. Thank you for that. Like, we are getting to know so much about LinkedIn. We can't explore it in like real life. So thank you for that. So, Anjali, what are the some most important resources a beginner should know and should start approaching on while preparing for these interviews, or also for while preparing for any of these competitive programming contests?
Okay, speaking from a interview specific point of view, I think GFG and Lead Code are really good if you want to prepare for interviews and DSA, because they have company specific questions, they have past experiences. So if you want to target a particular company for a particular role, they are really beneficial as they will provide you all the information that is out there. And GFG also provides past experiences and questions to practice, as well as the editorials on them, so you can understand the concept and all the approaches that are related to that concept. So I think from internship interview point of view, GFG and Lead Code both are really great resource. And coming to CP, I think CodeChef and Codeforces are again the best platforms out there. CodeChef has a lot of not only contest and practice problems, but also curated list of resources on their platform, which can be really beneficial if you want to cover a large area of concepts.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Anjali, for that. Like, there are a lot of platforms, but no one knows what the right approach is or what the right platform is. So, getting to know it from you, I think that everyone might benefit from that. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So, like, a lot of people say that a resume is generally boosted by your projects, but like, people get a little confused that should they work on their projects on various web development, app development, ML, AI, all these things, or or if they don't have much expertise in this field, then also they can crack the interviews. What's your take on that?
I think this becomes really company specific or the opportunity specific thing, because I think considering on campus opportunities, I think you don't need to have an expertise per se. You don't need very complex technologies or very high scale projects for to showcase in your resume. You need to know some skills which you can then implement in a project, because whenever an interviewer is taking your interview, he or she wants to discuss your projects, discuss something technical with you, because they want to judge your soft skills, your communication skills, and other skills based on that. So for that, you should have something to showcase, which the interviewer or the HR or the manager who's on the other side can discuss with you. So for that, I think you don't need a very high expertise in that field, but you should have something basic. You should have learned some skills that you have implemented into a project. But coming to off-campus opportunities, often there is a large number of applicants, and for that, most people don't even get to the coding round stage. So for that, because they shortlist the resumes based on their requirements, in that case, it is really important that if you have some good projects, if you have some good skills that really make you stand out, then it will be really good for your resume and for your shortlisting process. So it depends on the personally, like from the opportunity that I was exposed to, my resume was not that great, honestly, because at that point I was just a beginner in web development, and I had some practice projects. So it's not important that you should have really unique projects, or you should have high skill projects, but you should have something to showcase. And if you want to crack off campus opportunities, then try to have some good projects that make you stand out.
Okay, thanks, Anjali. That means that it's important that if we have a good hold on coding rather than having expertise on various fields, and that can make us well versed in the field of technology as far as internships are concerned.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm. So, like, Anjali, let's take a question from the audience. So, Asmita Sharma has posted a question for you. So, according to you, how much did the previous interview questions helped you during your interview?
I think they helped a lot. I used to search for the while I was preparing for a particular opportunity. I used to search all the questions. Like Geeks for Geeks also have a space where you can just put the company tag and you will get all the related questions that have been previously asked by that company. And but I did not get any questions that were repeated. Um, if you're expecting that whatever the list of questions is present in that particular space, if you're expecting that you will get the same questions, then that might not happen. but it definitely gives you a great example of what are the topics that are generally asked by that company and what is the level of question asked. So for that, it is a really great thing to understand the questions that have been previously asked, and then uh, make sure that you have a good grasp on the concepts and the topics that that company focuses on. So don't, I think my advice would be that don't focus on just those set of questions that expecting that you would get a question which was already been asked. It may or may not happen, but you will definitely get a good idea, and you will understand where you are lacking and which concepts you should have practice more. So for that, it is good. It is great. You should always look for the past questions.
Thanks, Anjali. I suppose, Asmita, you got the answer to your question. You can put a thumbs up if you got the answer. Okay, thanks, Asmita.
Okay.
Um, so, Anjali, like you talked about these topics, various topics which help you improve upon your interview skills or your SPP skills as well. So, can you just elaborate a little about what topics in data structures or algorithms or object-oriented programming are necessary to work upon for a beginner who's starting in the field of competitive programming to get a good grasp on it?
Yeah, so from an internship interview point of view, I'd like to say that if you're a beginner in data structures and algorithms, first of all, there are some topics like arrays, strings, linked list, stacks, and queues. These topics are the most standard ones. First of all, you should have a good understanding of these topics, because in these topics, after a while, the concepts are repeated. There are only a few set of questions that are asked in different ways, so it is easy to cover these topics first. So first of all, if you have a good understanding of these topics, then you can jump onto trees and BST, which is binary search tree. And I have noticed that from my personal experience, trees and BSTs are really focused on by many companies. If they want to ask you a medium level question, mostly they focus on trees and BST. So it is really nice to have a good practice in this in for these topics. And then coming to a little advanced topics from the internship point of view, I think if you have a good understanding of graphs and dynamic programming, then it would be really beneficial. Because as per my experience, if a company wants to ask you a good level question, then they will generally ask you a question on DP or on graphs. So if you have a good understanding of that, if you have enough practice on that, then that's the best case for you.
Um, Thank you very much, Anjali, for this. Thank you, Anjali, for this one. So, Mayank Kumar Sahu has a question for you. How can a guy in electrical engineering prepare for his internships?
Okay. I think for on-campus internships, electrical engineering students also get opportunities from various companies. So because the core subjects and data structures and algorithm is usually not a part of your curriculum as an electrical engineering student, I think you should spend some extra time for targeting these core subjects and data structures and algorithms. You should practice more coding questions, and for the core subjects you can refer to various sources, like the most uh, beneficial one I would say is Geeks for Geeks, because it has all the MCQ questions and all the concepts present on it. For core subjects preparation, you can just refer Geeks for Geeks, and for the coding preparation, it is the same as it is for all other branches. You have to just understand data structures and algorithms, practice some competitive programming, and practice regularly to increase your problem solving abilities.
Great. Thank you, Anjali. I suppose, Mayank, you got the answer to your question. So, Anjali, uh, is practicing competitive programming necessary for interviews, or data structure and study of data structures and algorithms and these core computer science topics enough for preparing preparations?
I think competitive programming is really necessary. Only data structures and algorithms or the core subjects may not suffice, because for while you practice data structures and algorithms, you might get experience of a few subjects or a few data structures, a few concepts. But when you're sitting for an interview or for a coding round, it may happen that you will see a question which you have not seen before. You have not even heard of the concept, and you cannot think of anything. You have not solved anything similar before. In that case, it is really, really important that you have some experience of competitive programming, because it helps in building your problem solving capabilities. It helps you in approaching a brand new question in a good way, in a way that will lead you to a solution. It really enhances that capability for you. And the more you practice competitive programming, the more comfortable you get with solving new questions and applying new approaches. And as per my experience, if you are good at competitive programming, if you have great experience in problem solving, then understanding and practicing data structures and algorithms will not be that tough for you. But I cannot say that the vice versa is true. So definitely, you should practice competitive programming in parallel. Also, I would like to add that in many coding rounds and in interviews, questions may be asked based on competitive programming, like number theory and all such things, and not just on data structure. So for that scenario, also it is nice to have to have some experience with competitive programming and to practice it regularly.
Thanks, Anjali. Thanks for that insight into what's important and what should we start with. Okay. So the question that many people face is ki, what is the phase of learning and what is the difference between the phase of learning and the phase of giving competitions and tests? Like when do one need to start giving competitions or start taking part in various contests, etc.
So I would say for starting with contests, like regular contests that are being held on platforms like CodeChef and Codeforces, I think you should start now. You should start if you think that should I start now? Then if you're thinking that is your indication that you should start. You should not wait for some particular time or thinking that I will cover this much topic or I will have this much practice. Then I'll sit for a contest. I think that approach is never good, because you will be stuck in a loop and you will never actually reach that point where you are starting with the contest. Just sit for the contest. Don't worry about your rank. Don't worry about anything else. Just sit for the contest, and I'm sure you will learn something new. You will learn something new, and that will allow you to analyze how much you can solve. And there is always a scope for improvement for everyone. So there is no right time to start for the contest. The right time is now. Just go for it. Just don't care about your rank for now. Just sit for the contest, understand what new things are present, and just if you start doing this, if you start analyzing all the new things that you learned during the contest, then you will start growing, and eventually you will go ahead and solve more questions. So just get started. That would be my advice.
Great, Anjali. Thank you very much. So, Vishnu Pratap has a question for you. Ma'am, could you please suggest us some trusted online sources to learn coding from scratch?
Okay, from scratch, I would say if you want to start learning a language, then you can just go on to YouTube and search for the tutorials for that language. Learning a language, it has a learning curve that initially it may not seem easy. You may think that I need a plan to learn this, I need to understand each and everything. But it's a thing that if you get started with it just from the basic lectures and you start practicing with it, you will get better at it. So for learning a language, you need to get started and then start practicing. You should not run after understanding each and every concept right away. So for learning a language, I would say Geeks for Geeks has some courses like Fork CPP, Fork Java for learning particular languages, and you can also find good lectures in on YouTube. You can find really great playlists there. So you can start learning your language there, and then if you want to start solving questions, just jump onto HackerRank and start solving algorithm questions. They have warm up, implementation, various category of questions, and those are really categorized in a way that you will start by solving easy questions that are great to get started. HackerRank is a good platform for that. And for a contest also, recently CodeChef has introduced Division 3 for beginners. I think that is a really great way to start. You can just, if you're a real beginner, if you are good with a language, and if you can implement basic loops and structures in the language, then you can go for the contest. You can sit for div 3 and you will find some questions that you can solve. Otherwise it will be a great learning experience for you anyway. So you can get started with that.
Thank you very much, Anjali. So, Muhammad Haris Qureshi has a question for you as well. Ma'am, you said that you should focus on a particular role in a particular company. So how can we find about that? What would be the particular role? That how should I figure it out?
Okay, so particular role, you will get to know about the opportunities. You can follow various pages on LinkedIn for that. And through your college also, through your seniors, you will get to know about the opportunity. And whenever a company is recruiting, they specify the role. It is whether it is a QTE intern, whether it is a SWE intern, and whether it is a product manager internship. They will specify the role for you. So whenever a company is providing an opportunity, they will let you know about the role. And you can also visit the career pages of the various companies, and there you can find the openings. And for the openings also, the roles are described. So for undergraduate students, mostly it is for internship as for the batches right now. And you can find these openings, and you can find the particular roles for that, so you don't need to worry about that. For with the opportunity, the role will also be specified.
Okay, thank you, Anjali, for that. I think Haris, you got a question, answer to your question. So there's a question as well for you in the audience only. What advice would you give to your past 1 year self?
Okay, so this is a tough one. I would
Yeah.
say that I will give an advice that stop overthinking and over analyzing and over planning everything. Like I used to do this thing where I would think that I will cover all these topics, then only I'll start solving something. If I will learn each and every concept of C++, then only I'll start problem solving. And that was really a big barrier in my growth, because the perfection is impossible. If you think that you will cover everything, then that is never going to happen. You just need to get started. There is this one great line that I like to live by: uh, the only way to get ahead is to get started. And I think I remind myself of that, and I would give that advice to my past 1 year self, that just get started, just do the thing, don't seek perfection, don't overthink and over analyze everything. Get started and practice hard, and eventually you'll reach your goal.
Thanks, Anjali. I suppose that was a nearly perfect answer to an open-ended question, and you handed it. So next question would be, Ki, which platform did you prefer for competitive programming? What was your preference as a student?
I really prefer CodeChef and CodeForces. CodeChef is really great for, first of all, for beginners. They have a long challenge which is conducted each month, as you all may know, and it is a really great way to get started with contests, because there is not a time limit, which most newcomers are not very comfortable with. You have a duration of 10 days, and during that duration, you can learn so many new things if you just try to implement each and every question. It is a great learning experience. So I think for that, I really enjoy solving CodeChef long challenge problems. And for solving questions difficulty wise, I think CodeForces has a great platform, because they have clear demarcation of the difficulty levels, level A, type A, B, C, and so on. So if you want to practice questions based on difficulty level, CodeForces is great. And again, they frequently conduct contests in a duration of like every other day. You will find a contest there. So if you want to sit for short contest also, CodeForces have a high frequency of contests being conducted. So that is also a great platform for competitive programming.
So that means that we are on the right track moving with CodeChef college chapters, and we could help students in a better way as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you, Anjali, for that appreciation. So there's a question from Rohit Jaiswal. To what extent does operating system and database management systems are asked in an internship interview?
Okay, I think it depends on the interviewer. For example, I'll share my experience. For our curriculum, OS and DBMS was not covered yet, and the interviewer was aware of that. So she asked me herself that what are the core subjects that you're comfortable in? Are you comfortable with OOPS? And I said yes, that was in my curriculum. So she asked me question on OOPS. So it depends on the interview. And if you're, for example, for our college, I think these subjects will be covered before the most of the internship and interviews begin. So you will be asked OS and DBMS, and it's almost always asked. I would say that Like resume discussion is a crucial part. It happens in almost all interviews. OS and DBMS are also asked. So after your CP and DSA practice, you should focus on covering these subjects. And if you're asking about the depth of the concepts, the extent to which they are asked, I would say based on that, they will ask you in depth. They will like to know if you have a good conceptual understanding. They will not just ask theory. They will like to know if you have the good grasp of the concepts of the subject. So whenever you're preparing, make sure that you understand each and every concept properly.
Okay. Thanks, Anjali. And I suppose Rohit got an answer to his question. So Harsh Verma also has a question for you. How to start learning any computer language from basics?
I think there are many courses available on Udemy and other platforms, but they are not really necessary from my personal experience. I learned C++ from I learned C as my first language from one such course, and it was a nice experience. But I think whenever I try to learn a new language, I just go on YouTube and search for the playlist, and various tutorials are present on YouTube. So if you are a total beginner, and if you want to learn a new language, just go on YouTube, search for the resources. You will find all the topics are covered in various tutorials, and then solve problems based on the language. You need to learn the syntax and then solve problems that are just meant to test your syntax knowledge. So you can find such questions on the internet easily. And if you already know a language and if you want to learn another language, you can try solving a question in the language you know. Like if you know C and you want to start learning C++, just solve a question in C, and after you have solved it, try to implement the same question in C++. Then the concept will not be a barrier for you. You just need you will just be you'll need to be familiar with the syntax of the language, so it will become easier for you to implement that. So I would say just start by looking for video lectures and other resources and just solve simple implementation problems using that language, and you will learn it with practice.
Okay, thanks, Anjali. And I suppose Harsh, you got an answer to your question. So there was a question which was raised with the answer you gave right now. So, how does CodeChef help a beginner to work on his skills, working on any language through its resources or competitions? How did it help you as well if you have an experience on that?
I think I would say honestly, Coach Chef is the best way to get started with competitive programming, especially if you are a beginner, because I think other platforms can be a bit intimidating for newcomers, but Coach Chef is a platform which really makes you comfortable easily. They have so many resources, and especially the long challenge. It is such a unique opportunity that is provided only on this platform, which is really good for newcomers. And if you don't have much experience, and if you feel intimidated solving questions in, like, say, 3 hours time for sitting for a contest, long challenge gives you a comfortable space where you can just get started, solve the questions as per your speed, research about the questions, learn new concepts, learn new algorithms, and in this way you always grow from it. So every long challenge, every other contest that is being conducted on CodeChef, it brings some growth for every person, whether they are a newcomer or they have some experience, because there is always something new to learn. So if you are a beginner and if you want to get started with competitive programming, then just you can really refer CodeChef for all your doubts, and for all the resources that are being provided. They have a curated list of resources also, and they have great contests, and long challenge is a really good way to get started. So do check that out, and do sit for long contest if you don't feel prepared for sitting for short contests just yet.
Okay, thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Anjali, for that. So there's a question from Atanu Dhadich for you. He's asking that can I get an internship in a good company in second year by working dedicatedly on only CodeChef and GFG, that is Geeks for Geeks?
Yeah, I think actually to answer this, I nobody can just give you a short way to reach somewhere. It is it really depends on the opportunity and how you have prepared. I mean, most of the people out there are preparing on CoachChef and GFG. These are popular and great resources, but it also boils down to how you use those resources. Just if you just think about solving a lot of questions and you don't learn anything new from them, you just solve questions for the sake of solving them by looking at the editorial or finding the solution on some discussion forum, that will not help you grow. I mean to say that you should know how to utilize these resources to the best, uh, so that you can learn something from it. Because at the end, the interviewer may not ask you anything which you have ever seen on CoachChef or on GFG anyway. It will then come down to your problem solving ability. So to answer this in a different way, I will say that if you work dedicatedly on CoachChef and on GFG, while making sure you learn new things and you understand each and every concept properly, then I can say that yeah, it is sure that you will get a good capability of problem solving, and that in turn will help you a lot in getting an internship. So there is no sure short way, because we never know what you will be asked in the interview or in the
Yeah,
coding
obviously.
round. But yeah, to develop your problem solving capabilities, these are great platforms. And while solving questions or while learning new things, make sure that you are learning them properly and you are actually growing with it, not just solving it for the sake of solving it.
Yeah, true. That's pretty true, Anjali. So Nanda Kiran also has a question for you. Ma'am, I had started learning Python as it was easy. So can I continue with it or just change the language to C++ or Java as they are procedural languages?
I think if you have started learning Python, then you should continue with it. You should learn Python properly, because it is a language which is used not only in DSNCP but in also other fields as well. It is a very versatile language. But speaking from a technical point of view, C++ or Java has certain features that give you an advantage in competitive programming environment. So for that, I think you should know one of the both the languages, C++ or Java. Also, because for some companies, while they conduct the coding interviews, sorry, the coding rounds, initial rounds, it may happen that they provide only the feature for C++ or Java. It rarely happens, but I have seen it happening, and for that reason, always suggest that you should. It would be great if you know one of C++ or Java. Anyone you can learn, and it would be a thing that you will not face any company who will not provide C++ or Java as their option, but they may or may not provide Python as an option for that.
True. So that can be taken. But if I think your answer was appropriate, yet if you have started building on something, you should first complete it and then work on anything else.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely.
thank you, Anjali, for that. So Aditya Tiwari has a question for you. What was your priority, competitive programming or projects for internship?
For internships, I did not focus much on projects. My whatever project I created, they were the kind of projects that everyone makes to while they are learning some concepts of web development that are already available on YouTube. So it was nothing groundbreaking or complex. They were simple projects just to show the interviewer that I know these skills and I know how to implement them, and I know how to make a project and implement all the concepts that I have learned. So projects were definitely not my priority in this case. And coming to competitive programming, yes, I would say that was my priority, because not only for interview, for while I was learning DSA and while I was starting programming, CP was something that I was focused on, because I think, as I have previously mentioned, problem solving abilities are developed with time, and it needs practice, it needs experience. So for that, CP has been my priority. And I think for everyone who is not only focusing for an internship, but if they want to learn programming, if they want to get a good grasp of other programming concepts, CP should be good way to start, and it should be a priority.
Okay, so thank you very much, Anjali, for that as well. So there is one question from not from the audience but from my and many others face this as well. How much this logic building is important for doing competitive programming? Like how much your logical approach, your logical skills help you in becoming a good competitive programmer?
I think they are very important. Logic building skills are important, and but it is not something that someone can tell you that if you do this, if you learn this, if you read this, then you will have a good logic building skill. It is something that comes with practice. And if you wait for your logic building skills to develop to start CP, then it's not going to happen. If you do CP, then your logic building skills will develop. So I think they are really important, but also there are some specific algorithms, and there are many problems that are targeted at those specific algorithms that you cannot think of on your own. They are developed and they are widely used. They are not something that people think on their own. So for that, along with logic building, you also need to have a good understanding of these algorithms. And from time to time, whenever you find a new question, you may find that there is a particular algorithm behind the solution of this question, which is a widely used and popular one. So for those algorithms, you need to do your research. Do your research whenever you find a new question. If you cannot solve it on your own, just if you go and search the solution for it, you will find these algorithms, and in that way only you can learn new algorithms apart from your logic building skills, which you will eventually develop while you do competitive programming.
Thank you, Anjali. So, last question of the day for you. Um, Asmita asked you that how much rating can be considered good as of CodeChef and Codeforces are concerned.
This is a tough one, to be honest, because I think rating is something. It if you even if you consider someone a good competitive programmer, and if you visit their profile, it may happen that they were a 4-star, 5-star coder in the previous month, and this month they are a 3-star coder, and you might think, what happened? As the contests come and go, these ratings go up and down. So ratings are not really the only reflection of a person's competitive programming abilities. But just from a general overview, I can say that I would say 4 or 5 stars is considered pretty good for Code Chef. And for Code Forces also, if you are above specialist, it's great. If you're an expert or candidate master, next level. So that is great. But again, for beginners, I would advise, which is something that I keep reminding myself. It's not just about the rating. Rating is the consequence of your efforts. Your efforts should be your first priority. So focus on that.
Thank you, Anjali. So I'm very like last question as well. Someone has posted, and it's a good question too. So Surbhi Jan is asking that how to apply for off-campus internships and what extra things or what extra efforts do we need to put up to be able to bag those internships? And can you give us an insight on what companies we should apply to? So, a long question.
So for off-campus opportunities, I think there are two kinds of opportunities if you broadly divide them. First are the nationwide drives that are conducted by the companies like Goldman Sachs they have conducted their drives. Amazwa was a drive by Amazon, and Adobe conducts their own drives. So in these cases, they are looking forward to hire a large number of applicants, and in this case you should definitely apply for them. You should look out for these particular drives, and you will be informed about them by your seniors, and on LinkedIn you will find the information about these drives, so you can apply for that. And companies which usually conduct these drives are Goldman Sachs, there is Amazon, there is Google, Adobe, and other companies as well, LinkedIn, Intuit. There are various companies that always conduct these drives. Other than that, you can also always visit the career page and look for the openings present on that, which they do not declare or promote openly. They just put it up in their career page, and if you visit it regularly, you can get an update of the openings available. But usually these openings are less in number, and it is difficult to get an interview opportunity for these openings. So for this, the process becomes a bit harder because they go through a rigorous process of resume shortlisting. So look out for these drives which are conducted every year. They are looking to hire good people, and they have a large number of openings in that case. So just look forward for these opportunities, and you can apply when these opportunities are available.
Thank you very much, Anjali and Surbhi. I suppose you got an answer to your question as well. I'm very sorry to others whose questions I couldn't take during this. You could always contact Anjali on her LinkedIn profile. Siddharth, I'd like you to put it up on the chat box so that everyone can get an answer to their query. And Anjali, it was really, really nice of you to be here with us, and it was a really good opportunity for me as well as many others who joined this chat today to interact with you. Just the last thing, do you have any message for our first years who are just beginning their journey into competitive programming so that they can ace these things and get good achievements like you have?
Definitely. First of all, I'd like to thank Coach Chef and ITRA chapter for this opportunity. It was really a pleasure connecting with you all, and it was a great discussion that we had today. And as per for the message that I would like to give to our first and second year students, as I said, just get started. Don't overanalyze, don't overthink. Always it happens that once you have done something, you look back on it and then you realize that it was simple, it was just a matter of time that you achieved this thing. If you keep practicing, if you are regular, if you're sincere, and if you have the right resources, then you will definitely achieve your goal one day or another. So just get started and be sincere, and don't focus much on ratings and other such things that you might see on various platforms, and which might entice you, but at the end it's your efforts and it's your learning that really counts. And when you get an opportunity to shine, these learnings will only help you in achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. So that's my advice for first year and second year students.
Thank you so much, Anjali, for this session with us. In the last, I'd like just give a thank you to everybody who were present here as an audience, as a team to help ask these questions and help progress through the session. Thank you all. I'd like to request my coach chef team, campus chapters team to just open their cameras, and all the participants as well who could have an opportunity to open their cameras for a group photograph. It will be very helpful from your side. Thank you very much. Mm, it would be nice if you do that.
Everyone can take up the screenshot and put up on their Insta handles. Tag us there. We will be happy to see those. Everyone.
And we'll definitely share those on our stories as well if we could.
Yeah, we will be sharing all this.
I'd request my
Sahil,
team.
could you take the screenshot?
I request the team members as well to just put on their cameras.
Yeah. Sahil, could you please take the screenshot? Everyone.
Yes, I would just take.
Yeah. Again, I would like to thank everyone, and please all the participants clap for means let's have a silent clap for ma'am. Anjali ma'am,
Yeah.
thank you for being with us today. Thank you,
Let's
ma'am.
have a
It
silent
was a
clap for
nice
this
session with
amazing.
you.
I would like to request
Thank
a
you, ma'am.
silent
Thank
clap
you,
for
ma'am.
this amazing initiative and the great work that your team is doing. It's really appreciable.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
Anjali.
I hope to see more from your side.
Definitely, and hope to connect with you again as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And also, the long contest is going on now, so you all can go and participate. We will be having one more session with one of our seniors, and you will get the
Also, next
notification
week
about that.
something amazing is coming up.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.